What's up, vinyl community? It's your boy Chris coming at you live as always from the man cave. Did a couple of contest videos today, which I've already posted. I got in a real string of doing contest videos a few weeks back. Promised myself, promised you guys that I'd come out of that rut. But one was a personal favor to a friend. The other one was this person was very polite and approached me, asked me to do it for them. And I always like to help out the vinyl community, the members of it, and the friends when I can. So, and you know, they were fun to do. So thanks, you guys. Shout out to Mike Guitar Player 07, by the way, and Imagine Just Records. Shoot over to both their pages, subscribe, join their contests, guys. They're still going on, both of them. Great people all the way around. Mike Guitar Player 07, excuse me. In particular, is a very good, close personal friend of mine. So, shoot over, shoot them a sub, sign up for their contest. I think you guys will have a good time doing it. So I wanted to do a different kind of video to kind of come off of the contest video thing. I've decided to do top 10 favorite Coltrane pieces in my collection. And it's important that I rephrase that and make sure you guys understand the criteria in which I'm going with. This is not top 10 favorite Coltrane albums, because if it were, several would be missing out of here. Several. This is pieces of sentimental value, of rare value, of just super cool value, and then a couple of them, of course, are my absolute favorites. But like say Soul Train, top 3 probably. Favorite Coltrane album for me, top 3 or 4. I don't have an original pressing. I have a reissue, so it's not in here. Ballads, I don't have an original. I have a reissue, so it's not in here. Ballads is also top 5 Coltrane for me. So that's just to give you an idea. This is top 10 favorite pieces to my collection, not top 10 favorite albums, and this is going to also go in no particular order. So I want to get that out of the way real quick before you guys are sending me messages going, what the hell, several of these are compilations, and not about that. This is not top 10 favorite albums. In the event that I acquire all original presses of all of my top 10 favorite Coltrane albums, I might shoot that for you someday. But in the meantime, here you go. So, starting off, John Coltrane Infinity. Of course, this is a posthumous project. Impulse, ABC. What's particularly important about this one, obviously, is that for you guys who follow and watch all of my videos, you'll know that when I acquired this, I acquired it sealed. And I acquired it sealed from one of my best friends in the vinyl community. Shout out to Chris Has the Spins. You guys should shoot over to his channel, shoot him a sub. He's a great guy and a damn good friend of mine. So thank you, Chris. I'm the very first and only person to ever drop a needle on this album. He bought it, couldn't bring himself to open it. Opportunity came along for him to trade for something that I had on the block. It was a Jimi Hendrix box set. We made the deal. I popped the plastic on that bastard as soon as I got it. Cleaned her up, threw her on the platter. You guys know how I wag and wheel. And we've kept it moving. But for me, it'll be a top 10 project, a top 10 piece to my Coltrane collection as of now, for several reasons. Number one, sentimental value. I got it from a friend. Number 2, I got it sealed. I am the only person to ever drop a needle on this. And it's pretty neat set, pretty neat collection. Next up, Coltrane, the John Coltrane Quartet, Africa Brass. It's an original mono press. I got it for $15 at a thrift store. I think that's damn near all that needs to be said. Is it my favorite Coltrane? No, but it's very interesting. Is it my favorite Coltrane on Impulse? No, obviously. Plenty better, several better. But it's a very interesting recording. It's different from anything else John ever did. And again, it's original mono press, and I got it from the thrift store. All those things you really just can't beat. Next up, again, these are all in no particular order, you guys. I think that's very important for me to say. Coltrane Sound. This is an original mono pressing on Atlantic. Gorgeous. Let's get the purple and red. I love the album. It's great. So many great tracks. John Coltrane on the tenor or soprano sax, McCoy Tyner on the piano, Steve Davis on bass, Elvin Jones on drums. It's a great record, you guys. Very, very, very great album. Next up, Bags and Trane, Milt Jackson, John Coltrane. It's on Atlantic. This is a first stereo press. Beautiful. Love the album. My copy's in as good a shape as an album that age could possibly be, really. Next up for me, I got this one 3 or 4 months ago from a buddy of mine who stumbled across a collector in California. Had a bunch of heat for sale, and he shot me a list of just everything he had for sale. I only wish I'd had more money at a time because I left several on the table. Several that I'd love to go back for. Coltrane Original Prestige, Coltrane's debut on Prestige. He had a Trident copy of that one with the blue label. So that's a very early repress. And I have an Analog Productions reissue. But for as much as I wanted to upgrade to an earlier version, I'm holding out for that original, guys. I'm going to go hard or I'm going to go home. And for Coltrane, I'm going hard. So someday that will be mine, and someday that Analog Productions will belong to somebody else. In the meantime, there it sits. I let that Trident label alone. I went ahead and grabbed that. This is an original mono Coltrane Jazz on Atlantic. Had to go ahead and grab that because, again, original mono. I'm all about my originals if I can get them, and it's still Trane. Next up, I think I grabbed this one about a year and a half ago. One of my favorite Coltrane albums, probably top 5 or 6. Oh, Coltrane. And the lineup on this one is out of this world, obviously. Coltrane, George Lane, Freddie Hubbard on the trumpet, McCoy Tyner on the keys, Reggie Workman, Art Davis, Elvin Jones, Eric Dolphy is on this one. This is just a really great album. And I love it. I love every single note. I love every bit of it. It's miraculous. For those of you who maybe want a lot of these albums I'm showing, because I just realized a lot of them are on Atlantic, there's a John Coltrane On Atlantic mono box set for sale on CD and on vinyl. Obviously, I recommend the vinyl. This is a damn vinyl community channel after all. It's, I think, 8 LPs. Every Atlantic release I've shown so far, plus a couple more I haven't shown. It's for like $115, $120. I think it's still in print and a lot cheaper on CD for you guys who want to hear Trane but want to save some of your cash. Want to save some of that Skrilla. I understand. Sometimes funds are just low. Believe me, your boy understands. Next up, top 3 Trane for me, easy. Coltrane, Giant Steps. John was recording this album at the same time that he was recording Kind of Blue with Miles Davis, which is what I was just listening to before I decided to shoot this video. And there's a debate going on right now on a friend of mine, Vinyl Wife. They do the Vinyl Battle Wednesdays. I can't remember if she started it or not. I'm not positive. But for those of you who follow along on Instagram know that they do those. And they pick a couple of albums, take votes, whatnot, decide which one's better. In her story, she put, Kind of Blue and A Love Supreme. And the last time I looked, which was 5 minutes ago, it had Kind of Blue 71%, A Love Supreme 29%. Okay, all right. So several tiebreakers I would include. Kind of Blue, while a phenomenal album with a great, extraordinary set of personnel, didn't really break any ground in the jazz world. Hard bop, it was, unbelievable personnel, and it's just really good. It's really good. But it's not my favorite Miles album, and most of the guys I know who are big jazz people, it's not their favorite Miles album either. And that's like almost every jazz fan I know. I mean, a jazz fan. I'm talking about somebody who has a lot of jazz in their collection, not somebody who has 3 jazz albums in their collection. That's not to knock on people who have 3 jazz albums in their collection. That's fine. If you have 3 jazz albums and that's one of them, and that's the best you've heard, that's your favorite, that's fine. Absolutely. But Kind of Blue for me is in no way better than Love Supreme. It just isn't. It just isn't. I'm veering way off track here, but as you guys know, I never edit shit. Think about this for a second. Those 2 albums have one common denominator. John Coltrane plays on both. And try to imagine Kind of Blue. Think about it for a second now. Go back and play Kind of Blue. Take John Coltrane off of Kind of Blue. What do you have? I'll just leave you with that. Now, back we go. Giant steps. This is arguably the cleanest playing 50-plus-year-old record I have in my collection. It sounds near mint. And the cover, it's got no split seams, no imperfections whatsoever, no writing on the record, no writing on the label. It is absolutely breathtaking. It is a 3rd mono press. Because for those of you who are familiar with this record, I'm assuming it's a lot of you, ahead of this one you have the Bullseye label, which I'd obviously love to obtain someday. And then you have the Black Atlantic label, which of the 3 labels, the Black Atlantic label is probably the least aesthetically pleasing to the eye, but it's the rarest and it's the most desirable to a collector. So obviously I would part with this one in favor of a VG++ Black label or even a Bullseye. But it better sound great, because this one, I'm here to tell you, just the sound will do me forever, because it's that perfect. It is damn near mint, and I use that term very loosely for such an old record. This one brings the heat, guys. Next up, John Coltrane, Lush Life on Prestige. It's an original mono pressing. Got that Prestige yellow and black label on it. I love it. Who doesn't love it? This one is not a traditional studio album in that it's not a fully realized thought. They didn't go into the studio and bang this one all out with the intentions of making it an album. It's some studio sessions pieced together so that Prestige could put something out while Coltrane was on Atlantic. You can't blame them for doing it. Trane was one of the big dogs in jazz. Prestige still has some stuff released by Trane while he was there. They hadn't put it out yet. Why not? And I gotta tell you, the end result is breathtaking. I don't care whether or not it was a fully realized thought or not. It is one of my favorite pieces in my collection, period. Not just in the Trane collection, but in my collection, period. Super clean, awesome, in every way. I love it. Again, original mono press. I think I grabbed it about, let's call it 2 years ago. I think a year or 2 ago. And it is, again, just one of my prized possessions in my collection. Next up, you guys have obviously seen me show this one before. It is one of my absolute grails in my collection. At one time, it was my absolute grail, but my theory on grails is once they're obtained, they're no longer grails because you have them. Time for a new grail. But it's Love Supreme, John Coltrane, original mono pressing, and that's why it's the grails, because it's the original mono press. And for jazz, I always prefer mono. I'm not gonna lie. You guys who've watched my videos know that without me even saying it. What is there to say about a Love Supreme that hasn't been said before, honestly? It's immortal in every way, shape, or form. And I probably should have brought up the debate that I brought up a little while ago. I probably should have saved that for when I showed you guys this, but you guys knew that was coming. 71 to 29. Get the fuck out of here. Come on. You think Kind of Blues better, that's great. But 71 to 29. Come on. Go on. Get the hell out of there with that bullshit. 51 to 49, okay. And finally, and I told you guys it was in no particular order, and I meant that. Because it was in no particular order. But I saved the absolute best for last. You guys have seen it 7 or 8 of my videos. Spoiler alert. It's on my damn t-shirt. Spoiler alert. It's up there in my art piece. Can you guys see that? Custom canvas made by a friend of mine. Hope you guys dig that. It's John Coltrane, Blue Trane. It's an original mono pressing. It's the only album Trane ever made on Blue Note. Features the talents of Lee Morgan and Philly Joe Jones. Yeah, you guys know. 47 West 63rd Street. Labels. It is the jazz mecca for me. If I could only ever listen to one jazz album for the rest of my life, that's my shit. Best believe. So, again, wanted to throw you guys, a non-contest video on a day where I've done 2 contest videos, and keep you guys interested, keep you guys tuning in, keep you guys looking at the channel and peeping for the new content. And I can't promise you that I'm not done for the day. This is number 3 for the day, but hell, I got some time. It's my day off. One never knows. But hope you guys enjoyed. I'm a huge Coltrane fan, as you guys know. That's not even a third of my Coltrane collection. But until next time, we'll throw Giant Steps on here in a minute. I haven't heard that one in a minute. The 60th anniversary of the sessions was just a few days ago. And I meant to listen to it that night, but I had to work. So, haven't gotten to it since, so what better time? Giant Steps, get ready to go on the table as soon as I finish the B-side of Kind of Blue. Trane. So, until the next time, until the next video, keep dropping that needle, you guys.